Today, in this episode of the Spotlight series, we meet co-author of Spotlight on Success, the PerformerPreneur collaboration book, Emma Bright, founder of Embody Dance Studio, creator of the nationally accredited Future Dance Teachers Program, and a passionate advocate for making dance accessible to everybody. At just 9 years old, Emma knew exactly what she wanted to be. While others questioned the size of her dreams, Emma chose to follow her path and always believed she could reach her goals. In her chapter, Choreograph Your Own Path, we discover how a young dance teacher with a van full of props, a huge heart, and an unwavering belief in inclusion built a thriving dance community and a national training program supporting the next generation of dance leaders. We'll talk about courage, resilience, leadership, and the power of creating opportunities where none seem to exist. Emma shares the lessons she's learned from working with dancers of all ages and abilities, why inclusion has become the cornerstone of everything she does, and how following her instincts can often lead to your greatest success. This conversation is a celebration of dreaming boldly, trusting your vision, and refusing to let other people's limitations define you. Whether you're a performer, teacher, business owner, or someone standing at the start of their new chapter, Emma's story is a powerful reminder that there is no single route to success. Welcome to the Spotlight series, where each week we meet one of the brilliant co-authors and creatives behind Spotlight on Success, the PerformerPreneur book that's redefining what success looks like both in and out of the showbiz spotlight. I'm your host here, Nicole Louise Geddes, and in these special episodes we learn even more about the stories behind the sequins. Raw, honest, powerful reminders that the end of one act is only the beginning of another. So listen in as we chat challenges and triumphs and inspire you to shine in any spotlight you like. Please join me in welcoming the fabulous Emma Bright to the spotlight.
Woo! That was amazing. Thank you.
It's all you, my darling. You are amazing, and your chapter is so empowering. It's beautifully written. Let's start there. How did the process of putting all of that life experience down into not very many words? Let's be honest. How did that feel? What has that done for you as a business owner and a person?
I feel like it's been really life-changing. It's really kind of put everything into order for me, and so I can see how A got to B, and how that route happened through a series of different risks, a series of taking chances, that sort of thing. But it's been really therapeutic to sit and write. And I think I've rewritten it probably about 70 times, kept printing it off my computer and redoing it. But and I've really enjoyed the process as well. So yeah, it's been gorgeous, really.
Well, it is a gorgeous read, and your life, and you've just said about that path and those risks, and your chapter speaks about that. It's called Choreograph Your Own Path. So what does that phrase actually mean to you now compared to possibly like when you started the path?
So we went through a few different titles, didn't we? And we settled on that one, I think, because it related to dance and the pathway that I took. But I think it's about trusting your guts, believing in yourself, and kind of, when you get those kind of crossroad moments, actually creating your own road. Like, do you know what? I'm actually just going to get a shovel here and create my own, because I don't know which way to go. So let's just make my own. And creating is a form of choreography. So create your own path, choreograph your own path. That's how it all came about. Yeah.
It's beautiful, and that explanation really, really highlights that process for you. So I guess many performers listening right now will be following other people's paths. We naturally do in the industry. What did you learn, and when did you learn about following your own instincts and knowing or trusting that it would get you to where you're meant to be? I guess my question is, what do we need to be telling those listeners that are maybe stuck on somebody else's journey right now?
So I'm like to blame for it as well. I do the same thing. I think we all do. I think being a dance school owner, was in the first 5 to 10 years of the business looking sideways all the time. I'm doing is not good enough. It doesn't compare. It doesn't work the way other people's works because the way my dance school runs, it's very unique. But I kind of felt like that was a bad thing. And actually, it being unique, I've now actually realised that's its beauty, and that's what makes it it. But it did take me a process to come to that. And it's all right for us to say, "Oh, put your blinkers on and don't look at other people," or just use the good bits for inspiration. But I think you've just got to look at what you're doing and stick to the heart of what you are doing. And as long as you've got that heart, that is what follows you through. Like my mission is giving everybody the chance to dance. So I always just come back to that. Am I doing that? Oh, that doesn't align with that. So actually, no. So yeah, blinkers on, but being open as well.
Curiosity and
Mm.
playing. You credit that word playing and curiosity and experimenting throughout the chapter. Listeners, if you haven't read it yet, it's an exceptional read, and it entwines all of this conversation together. So please do grab the book. But you credit playing and curiosity and experimenting, and they've culminated in your biggest breakthroughs. Let's just give the listeners an example of something that you know, you may be kind of diverted away from that traditional path because of curiosity and that heart.
Yeah, so from the very start, I didn't want to teach children. I wanted to teach older people. I had a big passion for dance and the elderly, um, and was just able to start volunteering and work with people. In the book, there is example of Mr. Keith, but I could have picked 100 examples of different older people that have inspired me, and using experimentation and play, trial and error, seeing what they like, what they don't like, and just not being afraid to try things, because actually people surprise you. And when you're in a community of something, people do go with ideas. And not all ideas are right, and not all ideas work. But it's that kind of creativity and trial and error combined, um, that that has helped me explore different ways into teaching dance. So for older people, for children with SEN, one thing like I've always been proud of is my use of props. So I just, like you said, I had a van full of props, and our office at the studio is just literally full of props. And how props can be used for adults as well as children, because I think it's quite often like, oh, they're preschool props, when actually no, it can really help people, with terms of grasp and how they hold things, using their muscles in their arms and things like that. It's really good for falls prevention. Like it can help them hold on to their shopping bags as well as dance and move. So I think playing with the props has been a really big part of me. And my staff at dancing always say, like, can we just do a dance without a prop? Like, we don't need to do it. And I'm just like, I just love them so much. I just think an ordinary thing becomes extraordinary when you use it in a performance or in within music. So yeah, I think a lot of the play comes from the use of the props.
Brilliant. And like we're saying, it's going off on a different trajectory, doing something different and following that curiosity and experimenting. I love that. And working with those older adults as well. It's not the traditional route to dance teaching. When we talk about dance teaching, Emma, you knew right from the offset, and we start the chapter in the book, or you, sorry, start that chapter with that story about telling your peers and their parents out loud that you wanted to be a dance teacher. It's a real kind of heart-wrenching moment because, well, I want the listeners to read the chapter, but please do go and read that chapter. But you knew right from day one that dance teaching was what you wanted to be and to do. Can you elaborate on how you knew, why you knew, and what kind of pushed you to keep going?
Um, I can still picture myself sitting on the floor, at my dance class, and literally looking up at a lift, in Acro, and thinking, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be amazing if we could practice this forever and ever and just get it better and better and better? And then I remember thinking, I don't think everyone else is thinking like that. Like, I think everyone else just wants to go out and play. And then thinking, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I could teach other people to do that, and then alongside like the shapes and the colors and the props again, that always lights me up. So I think I knew from the very start that I just wanted to pass on that love for dance. Dance was a real escape for me. And yeah, it just, I don't know, just help other people experience dance the way I experienced it, was what I wanted to do.
You speak in the chapter of not having endless dance experiences in your younger years. Is that where your everybody a chance to dance kind of ethos stems from?
100%. So I did one class a week, financial reasons, I presume. Nothing on my parents because that's what they allowed me to do. One acro class a week, absolutely live for it. And just did that. They took me out at one point, and like very mixed. I felt like I never really fitted into the dance school model. I wasn't really friends with the girls. They would look down on me because I only did one style and had like hand-me-down leotards, and things like that. And I felt like there was a lot of kind of cattiness in that environment, especially from the parents to the students. And I didn't vibe with that. But at the time, obviously, I thought there was something wrong with me. Um, Obviously, I don't do all this stuff. I don't have this and I don't have that. So that's my problem. Um, Hence why my studio now includes everybody. Most students only do one class a week. They come, they dance, they go home. There's no exams. I mean, we come from the era, don't we, of they pushed your leg up against the wall and that's it. Like, it like that was what happened. But nowadays, it's more about the experience, and I focus on how the kid feels when they're dancing rather than what the dancing looks like. So I think it's focusing on the benefits.
I absolutely love that. And you've already said in this pod episode, heart, curiosity, play. These words are embody, they are Emma, and they are your legacy. And if we want to move there quite swiftly in the pod episode, your legacy and leadership and impact is insane. And how fast you've grown your dance school into this future dance teachers program, and continue to build upon that success of the dance school. Again, you've been curious, you've experimented, you've choreographed your own path, and you've gone in a different direction. In the chapter, Emma, it says about the future dance teachers program. You and I know each other much deeper than that chapter is able to go in terms of word count. So talk to us about that. How difficult, easy, experimental, fun, hard that has been. First of all, just tell the listeners what that actually looks like. I'd love them to know because this is a huge legacy piece.
Yeah, so I've always been really interested in leaving the legacy behind, and we've always worked with our students at the studio to provide them with different opportunities to go on and teach. But as more students came up, I realised that they wanted to assist, but they needed a formal route and formal training enabled to do it. We're not linked to an exam syllabus, so there wasn't really an option for us to do it. So I created my own, thinking it would benefit the 10 kids that signed up for the first year. And it just lit up the studio. It was just beautiful. Like, the it just gave the students everything. The students were on the course were just so passionate about what they were doing, but the students in the classes were then looking up to the students on the course, which was then creating like a full circle within the class. And the teachers were being supported properly by their student assistants. So it really just created even more of a community than we'd already built, which I thought wasn't even possible. So I created the course. The students assisted in a show, and I think I say in the book that I was backstage at the show, and they were all made to take a bow, and they took one individually instead of in one line, and my heart just like swelled with pride, and I thought they believe they're dance teachers, which was the point. They are. And that was the same age that I was when I was told not to be a dance teacher. So with that in mind, I was like, if this has done this for my studio, why couldn't it do it for others? Um, and then the hard work really began.
Well, because let's be honest, you probably set out on that journey naively. You know, we've all been assistant teachers to our dance teachers and our dance schools over the years. You know, that is part of being part of that dance community. So I don't suppose you really understood or knew at that moment what a responsibility that was in terms of getting that accredited and supported nationally. And I should think a lot of people, you know, are planning on doing something similar. But Emma, tell us about the hurdles, the hoops. You know, how did that come about, and what do you now know that the rest of the dance industry should know about that process?
Yeah, so accreditation, nothing had been accredited for as young as 11 before, and we had to go through accreditation rather than kind of qualification because of the age of the children. So first of all, that was hard to find that route. Then that had to be sent off and kind of marked, I would say. Yeah, it had to be marked. We had to revise it. Um, Studios started to offer the course, and we'd looked into everything. And then we got contacted by a county council, and they said, "Have you looked at child work permits?" And we said, "Oh, they're on a educational course." And they said, "No, unfortunately, they're assisting in a profitable business. So actually, in our county council, they require child work permits," which therefore then opened a whole new book of stuff that we didn't even know. We then took a whole year to look into legislation, how we work with different county councils to make the course as clear as possible and within those guidelines of child work permits. So we've got all those answers. So students still as young as 11 can take the course, and students 14 plus. And we've navigated how to work with the county councils and things like that within your specific county council. And it's all really clear for everyone who kind of joins us from now on. So yeah, so there's been lots of hurdles and lots of kind of red tape that I didn't think would happen just for something, because actually the idea is simple. It's creative, it's effective, it's colourful, and it inspires the kids, but actually the product is simple. But the background behind working with children, we all know, can sometimes be harder than you think. So yeah, all of the work is done for everybody because we've been there and we've gone through it all.
I'm smiling from ear to ear because I'm so proud of you. I know 100 people that would have stopped at one of those hurdles and gone, do you know what? This is a massive mission. And would you say that that child in the car from that first story, would you say those moments, and there'll have been many for you along the way, as with all of us, would you say those moments have given you that determination and that drive to push past these hurdles, for want of another better word? Like, where's your drive come from, Emma?
Um, I don't know. I don't know where it's come from. I think it's kind of like go big or go home. Like you're either all in or you're not, and I'm a very all in person. Like I can't do anything. I mean, I had a 10 pound 7 baby. Like I can't half-ass something. So like I think it's that determination, that kind of like if you're all in, you're all in. But obviously with all of those things, it's very easy to feel out of your depth because actually I don't know anything about what was it, child employment. I don't know about that. I've got to educate myself, and that's when the play-in kind of came into educating ourselves, me and my husband, and really kind of going, okay, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it properly. Because one thing that we've always stood for at the dance studio and with future teachers is that it's professional. We've always been like so professional. So to us, that's really important. My husband's a school teacher, and I think it comes from that as well, like that professionalism. So yeah.
That makes so much sense, and it's going to be super inspiring to anybody listening. You can play for as long as that playing and creativity and experimentation gets you to where you want to be. But when that next phase comes in, there might be an element of hard work, determination, education, support, community, asking questions. So it is bridging that gap, like the book says, between passion and purpose. And when you put those two together, a whole new spotlight, a whole new chapter evolves. And are you prepared to do the work? I think that sums up the book. It sums up our performing into entrepreneurial pivots. We can get so far, and then we have to decide whether it's something we're going to pursue and educate and learn and do more of. Your everybody give everybody a chance to dance ethos that stemmed right back, those values that you've just spoke about, do you think they have been the foundation of each stepping stone, each creative path, each impact?
Yeah, I mean, I set myself a tall task, didn't I? Like giving everybody the chance to dance. I think, and don't get me wrong, that has been thrown back at me a lot of times when there's been issues. People have gone, well, that's not giving everybody the chance to dance, and things like so. Like I have really set myself like a big task, I think, but it underpins everything. It underpins to me what I experienced as a child and why I think it's the word opportunity. I think it's giving people the opportunity. It's not giving them the chance to dance. It's that opportunity that's here if you want it. So I think Future Teachers is like an opportunity on a plate for dance schools or students to take. And yeah, it's giving everybody the chance to dance will always be there.
We're going to touch back on future dance teachers because I really want to give everybody the information on how to get in touch with that. But that's grown, just before we do that, that's grown from your studio to hundreds of studios across the UK and thousands of students. How does that make you feel?
It's a mixture because I feel incredible that it's reaching so many children um, and studio owners, but at the same time, I feel a lot of responsibility because I want to make their experience the best that they can, and I take it very seriously. But yeah, very proud. And we all know that as kind of business owners, we kind of move on very quickly because we're worried of where the next thing's going to come from or what's going to happen next. So I think I've got to try and stop and be proud. And I think writing the chapter taught me that actually I haven't stopped and took in everything. You're very much on this treadmill, aren't you? And just keep going and actually to sit back and think, oh wow. I mean, when I do see pictures on like socials of kids in my t-shirts with their own studio logo on, like interacting with younger students, that is for me the reward.
So, if a performer is listening right now, and that is our ideal client, our target audience for this pod, we're very much within the industry focusing on ourselves and our own success. You're showcasing that pride and that excitement when we impact others. How important do you think it is for performers to look further than themselves and just consider that legacy piece, what they're going to leave, what they can do? And it's not for everybody, but if somebody's kind of toying with that, how important do you think it is to follow that path?
I think if it's at the back of your mind that you want to do something and it's something different or it's something that you feel really passionate about, um, then just try it. Try it in like this, like when I was first writing Future Dance Teachers, I was actually just doing it in this office, just like secretly writing away. What is the harm? The only thing you're going to lose is time because nobody, like when I wrote it, I didn't think anyone was going to see it. And then 10 students saw it, then 100 students saw it. Now 1,000 students are seeing it. So I think you don't have to think big straight away and like things will progress. So when I knew nobody was looking at it, I just wrote it from the heart. So actually, just again, play, experiment. And like people might be like, well, it's easy for her to say because she's made this course. And I was thinking, but it's been hard every step of the way. And I'm not an overly confident person. You just have to kind of find your niche and work with it.
Brilliant. It's brilliant advice. And it's so touching because I know the truth in that those statements. That, they're not overly confident, not necessarily believing wholeheartedly at the beginning, but just trusting. And that's the bit, isn't it? Having that self-trust and that desire to just give it a go, to play. So everyone listening and anyone that's read the chapter will know you have done some big, bold, audacious, incredible things. You're saying that they've started small, they've started experimental, but they have grown. The studio, the future dance teachers, your family's even grown. There's a moment in the book where your son draws a picture of mummy upstairs tired from dancing. And I think this is really, gosh, it is absolutely heart-wrenching when you read it. And you've said openly that it was a heart-wrenching moment, but it did change your perspective of continuing to build, continuing to grow versus just pausing, being part of the family dynamic. Tell us a little bit more about that moment and how the future from that point looked different in terms of the go, go, go.
Yeah, so we worked solidly during COVID, came out of COVID and got the studio literally off the back of COVID. And from there on in, it was head down. Like, this has got to be, we've got to make this successful because we're relying on it. And Jensen through that was a toddler all the way up to school. And I was out most evenings teaching. During the day, I was on my laptop, obviously doing all the admin. And it was like I was just on a constant churn. And even when I was at home, I wasn't completely present. I was struggling to kind of focus on what I was doing. Not that I think he would have noticed, but I noticed. Then when so I'd always make an effort to do the school run every day, but then I'd get him home and I'd have to leave for dancing, and then I wouldn't see him until he was in bed. And that time, like we all know, is so precious. Um, so I was really, and then there was Saturdays at the studio. I was really missing out on him. Um, and then he brought home in his book a picture of home, and it was him and Daddy downstairs, and I was upstairs, and I was labeled tired from dancing. Um, and it's just like you just don't want to see that, do you? And I thought something's got to change. This can't continue. But at the time, like I, I didn't know how or what could change. And obviously, you'll find out in the book what did change. But I think it was the wake up call I needed as well. I was aware of it, but I think coming from, they say something like coming from the mouths of babes or whatever, they're coming from a child's mouth. Um, it felt even more powerful.
I mean, my understanding of this, and I'm tearing up thinking about it because I'm sure many of us in this stage of our lives are guilty of exactly that. But actually, I think it's really important for anybody setting out on an entrepreneurial journey to know that success that you have had, that I have had, that is perceived and seen on social media across other industries, that is all built on hard work and there are sacrifices. And I don't think we can glorify hard work because obviously, there's sacrifices. But at the same time, I think people that expect these big businesses, these legacies, this lifestyle, these successes without that sacrifice and hard work, I think they're being sold a pipe dream. So I think the story and the honesty and transparency of that hard work, of that pivotal moment of change, and then, luckily having that big business legacy and already established to give you the freedom. I think that's the piece, isn't it? Everybody's going to feel that. And I guess my point is if you are a performer with a future dream of a family, of, a legacy, of a business, if you start small and start soon, that
Yeah.
moment won't necessarily be right in the middle of family, life, children. It might have already been built. The hard work might have already been done. For you and I, we've built it as we've got our children alongside us growing up, and that's okay. And there should be no shame in that. But because it was already pre-built, you were able to stop and slow down, like you do say in the chapter. How grateful are you for starting that dance teacher journey into the dance school, into the future dance teachers training? How grateful are you that you started that at such a young age?
Oh, that's a hard question. So I was 21 when I graduated, and I started literally the company at 21. And I was young and I was so naive. And I trust people really easily. And I think that was hard. It was hard becoming a boss, becoming, all those things you have to do when you're self-employed and then you become a company. Um, but now I'm just so grateful for it, for the opportunities it's given me. So not only have I give people opportunities, but it's given me opportunities to meet people I'd have never have met before. To work with my husband, to work from home sometimes, and the opportunity to write the book. Like none of that would have come. So yeah, I'm just really grateful for the way everything's gone and how I've followed my own path, really.
Choreographed your own path.
Yeah, you know.
Who is your chapter for? If you could hand this book to a specific person or type of person or somebody on their path, who, when, what, why, who do you think will benefit most from your chapter?
Well, first of all, I imagined giving it to one of my young dancers, but I actually think it now I've written it and rewritten it, it goes deeper than that. So actually to anyone, they don't even have to be a dancer, they don't even have to be in performing arts. I just think it's just a compilation of stories that just shows where things can go if you take a chance and believe in yourself. So I don't think it's specifically got like a target audience. I think you don't have to be dancing performing arts. It's got that element to it, but it's not. Yeah. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, in business, anyone listening with business understanding, you have to niche down, right? And this is our niche. This is what we know. This is what we're experts in, the performing arts industry. But you're absolutely right. The different journeys, the different stories, the different way of telling that story, and the different experiences, the hope is that anybody that picks up the book can relate to something within it, and it will ignite that belief. It'll be that permission slip. It'll be that moment of, okay, I can relate to this and I
So
want that.
I do have one. So I shared it with one of the mums on the school run who's my friend, and she was once a dancer and now works as a TA in the school. And I shared it with her. She stopped dancing because of issues around kind of like the way you look when you dance and things she was told. And she read the book and she was like, read the chapter and said, that's it. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and study to be a therapist and help children. And you've given me like the kind of get up and go to do it. And for Katie to say that to me, I was just like, oh my gosh, you're like the first person to read it apart from my husband and my mum. So even if it's only you that ever reads it, that's had an impact on Katie. So even just that, just yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible what this book and what your chapter and the ripples, and we just won't know how many lives it touches and who goes on to do what next. But the fact that you trusted me, the fact that you've come into the second edition, you've done it so boldly, so heart-led and wonderfully. I'm eternally grateful for the four new authors that are enhancing this best-selling book. So thank you from me, and please do pick up the book, everybody. Buy the book, read the book. I'm hoping for an audio book next year as well. That's a little bit of a secret coming out there. Like I've got plans. We know where this is going to go. If you've got a college or a school and you want these people, these incredible stories in your space, then please do reach out. And if you are a dance studio owner and you're thinking, I would love this future dance teachers experience and program inside your studio, then please reach out to Emma. But first and foremost, buy the book, really understand her and where she's come from, and then there'll be no doubt you'll want to take that program into your own school and studio. Please do share your social links and website, Emma, so people can reach out to you.
Yeah, so it's at Future Dance Teachers across socials. And then I've got emmabrightdance.com, which is taking shape. And that will lead you to the Future Teachers site as well. But the Future Teachers site is futuredanceteachers.co.uk.
And just to end the conversation today, the teenage you sat in the car, go read the chapter, everybody. What would she say to you, or you say to her right now? What, looking back, if she could see what you've achieved, what do you think she would think or say? Do you think she knew?
No, I don't think she knew. I think she would. You flipping did it. I think that's what she'd say. You flipping did it. You did it. Yeah.
You did it. You have done it.
Yeah.
You should be so proud. I'm so glad that the process has given you that moment of pause and reflection, and it will see you, so strongly taking that next step. We can't wait to follow the next bit of your journey, Emma. Thank you so much. Thank you for such a fabulous podcast interview, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Take care. Big love.
Bye.
There you have it. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Spotlight series, where stories shine and success gets redefined. If you loved what you heard, hit like, follow, or subscribe. And be sure to grab your copy of Spotlight on Success over on Amazon. And don't forget to tag us at PerformerPreneur across all socials. If you've been inspired today to step into a new spotlight, you can find a whole community ready to support you at performerpreneur.co.uk, as well as up-and-coming events and even more about each author. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and continue to shine.